So I can't emphasize this enough that people need to shoot more.
That's what I want to know.
I'm a very, very boring person. Extremely
I do
boring
not
person.
agree.
And I send my entire portfolio to this lady in New Zealand who was a very top shot advertising creative director. I assisted a photographer in Bombay.
Yes.
At the time, I started on film, so there were probably 10-15 big names in photography. And at one point in time, I became very, very antisocial, and I went into my cocoon, and I was a recluse. I remember times when I was traveling from Bombay to Pune to for my son's birthday, and I did not have money to buy him a gift.
Right.
Some of my best pictures come from my phone. Yeah. Bikes is something I've been passionate about always, and I am a very avid traveler. A lot of people keep giving me Buddhas. I don't know, there was one point in my life where there were only Buddhas flowing into my life.
Okay.
Like people would say, Sameer Belvalkar, the recluse photographer. So people would say that.
Our stories are nothing but gifts. A gift of a life that is lived well. Love, failure, success, tragedy. No two people have the same story. Sameer Belvalkar is one of the finest photographers in the industry, and also mostly is one of the only photographers who's also a TEDx speaker. A little bit of luck and a lot of hard work are the key ingredients that have set him apart. He's headquartered in Pune, Mumbai and Dubai. He's been backed by various individuals, various brands, as well as people from the television and movie industry. Films like Jodha Akbar and My Name is Khan set a different league for him. Let's meet one of the people who's most celebrated, a celebrity photographer, a fashion photographer, someone who gets and captures the human face like no one else. He can freeze time. What's your superpower? All right, so first up, tell us, who is Sameer?
Okay, so top of my mind, I think Sameer is somebody who wants to live his life like an adventure.
Okay.
And who wants to be surrounded by everything beautiful. I think these are the only two things that come to mind.
And you actually living like this.
I am. And because I'm living almost on those lines, I think I can relate to that, and I'm pretty satisfied where I am right now with what I'm doing. Of course, it'll be still be in the same zone, but I think it'll just keep getting better and better. But yeah, these two things pretty much
define who you are.
Yeah, define and sum who I am.
Yeah.
Every now and then, wherever I am, I will always try to keep beautifying my surroundings in smallest of ways.
Yeah.
It could just be a small job of decluttering maybe. And of course, the adventures that I've had, there are like too many.
Oh, we have so many stories to tell today.
Yeah. So yeah, I've also shot myself in my leg once.
What?
How's that for an adventure?
Oh my God, how's that for the start of this interview?
Yeah, so I just threw it in case you want to.
Yeah. Brilliant. So tell us why photography? I think that's what the audience really wants to know.
So that's a very offbeat question, because even I don't know the answer to it.
Okay, it just happened.
Normally it's a hobby turned profession, but this is a scenario where it was not even a hobby. I was never even interested in taking pictures as a kid, as a teenager, as somebody who went into college. I was absolutely detached to the camera. Never ever felt like picking up a camera and taking a picture.
You're kidding me.
No, absolutely. And then before I knew it, it just completely consumed my life. And today, if you ask me, what would you rather be doing? I don't think I am built, or I don't think I ever want to do anything besides what I'm doing. So it's like photography found me, and in that I just found my calling.
So do you think that's the reason you're so aligned with this profession? Because photography found you and not the other way around.
Exactly. I didn't really go looking for something. But when I was just living my life, when I was just going through my experiences of life, whatever, it just dawned on me out of the blue.
Correct.
And when I saw it, I just grabbed it. And I think it was just about me taking the first step towards it.
Correct.
And it automatically showed me the entire path of what I'm supposed to follow.
So when we talk about this alignment, right? Do you think this is the alignment that is actually flowing into your work and then coming out in the end product?
Yes.
Because I know we had been speaking about this, that you feel something else takes over your photographs.
Exactly.
So could you elaborate something on that?
So I don't feel myself, a lot of times, like I told you before, when I'm getting into a shoot, there's a certain amount of planning, there's a certain amount of like a vision that every artist has about where he wants his piece of art to go.
Correct.
What form it wants to take, or he wants it to take. So when I enter the shoot, I've got something in mind, but I think most of the times what I get on the other side is something which is far better than what I've planned in my head.
Wow.
And honestly, when I look at what I get on my screen, it really feels like I have not done this. I have not contributed to this. I probably held the camera, I probably clicked the button, I probably instructed my subject.
Correct.
But what I've got, I did not even plan this remotely. Like, how did I get this? And it really
is this divine intervention?
I think it's divine intervention.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time I did not know how and why this is happening. Then it started with my team telling me, and a lot of my people telling me, my family and friends who would sometimes come for my shoots, they would tell me that you become unrecognizable when you pick up the camera. So,
oh my God.
And I was like, what do you mean unrecognizable? So it's like a different personality, a different aura, the way you talk, the way you conduct yourself.
Everything is different.
Everything is different, and you're always on the edge, and there's just something different about you.
Yeah.
And it could just be as simple as, me keeping the camera down, turning to you and just saying, so Dimple, what's up? And then I will be a different person altogether. It's the shift
there's
is
a
like that.
switch basically, yeah.
And then that made me wonder. That was the first time that seed got planted in my head. Like, why is everyone saying that I become a different person? And then I realized that, okay, as an extension of that, what I'm also getting on the screen is something that I'm not doing, but maybe this different person that takes over.
Yeah. Which is also constantly guided by universe's forces,
exactly.
right?
Call it divine intervention, call it alter ego, call it what you wish. Yeah, but that's the feeling.
Yeah.
And again, going back a little bit, so I like beautiful things, I like good things.
Correct.
And photography lets me do that, because I really feel that I transform whoever and whatever is in front of me and make it much better than what it originally was.
I think what you're saying is also very profound, because they say that, the sign of a great photographer is when what is an actual and what is clicked. When the clicked is far better than the actual.
Correct.
That is the sign of a great photographer.
Exactly.
And so many times we also, when we, even something so random as taking the picture of the sky, after we take it, we're like, no, it didn't do justice. What is there is far better than what is on the camera.
Exactly.
But when you switch that makes some
Yeah, I like the way you put it.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of times, talking about nature photography, a lot of times I pull out my phone. Is the easiest way to capture a moment, capture a camera.
Yes.
A lot of times I feel like what I'm seeing and what the camera is seeing, like I try a couple of times, but if it's not happening in the first 5 seconds, I just keep the camera inside.
Yeah.
Like, let's not insult it. Let's just enjoy it rather than try
I think nature definitely anyways is something which is so pristine and pure that no one can really touch it and make it better.
Exactly.
That way. Yeah. Okay, so next question. When and how did you get your first camera?
So I started on film. So there was no digital anywhere on the horizon. People were not even talking about digital.
Yeah.
So my father, he's somebody who would always pick up gadgets. He was very gadget savvy, tech savvy.
And you're talking about years and years back.
And years. Like
when probably gadgets were just a handful, I would say.
Yeah,
or very difficult to grab.
I'm talking about 90s, like mid 90s is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So at that time, I think my dad had got 2 camera bodies with, I think, 1 or 2 lenses, which were film cameras. Wow. And he just got it at a deal because somebody was doing a distress sale.
Okay.
And come to think of it, in a way, if I look at it now, he got them for me,
That's when you picked up your first camera?
I did not. So it was lying in the house for years and years and years.
Okay.
Just rotting until a point when my sister picked it up and she started, clicking pictures. And because she picked it up, I wanted to prove to her that I can take better pictures than her.
Revenge.
Yeah, so that's exactly how it happened. And she wouldn't give it to me because she's like, no, Abhi, I've taken it, so it's mine until I decide to give it to you. And then, the whole brothers' ego, sibling rivalry, all of that. And then I discouraged her pictures to a point where she just got fed up and she just...
My God.
She's like, okay, here, take it. And then I took it up.
So she lost the competition.
She lost the competition, yeah. Or rather, I had more patience to, outlive her patience. And that's the first time I picked up the camera and bought some film, loaded the film and took some pictures.
Oh, wow.
And that was my first interaction with the camera ever.
That's
a
story by itself. The camera chose you.
The camera chose me. It was always there. And then my father got some deal on a couple of lenses which he picked up. Okay. And he would just, I don't know why he would buy it. He would just buy it.
So he was not into photography. No. He was not clicking.
No.
He wasn't even using the camera.
No.
But he was still buying and
He was,
investing.
yeah, just like it's a good deal,
Yeah.
it's a throwaway price, you will never really get this again.
It just had to come your way.
It just had to
basically.
come my way. I still remember it was a Canon EOS 88.
Wow.
The camera model. It had very basic lenses because
But yeah, you're talking about 90s.
90s,
So
yeah.
why not? Yeah.
Exactly. And
Correct.
of course, big lenses, expensive lenses was two things. They were not available, one.
Yeah.
And secondly, only the top photographers would really invest that kind of money in it
Correct.
to get their money's worth in terms of the kind of work they were doing. Yeah.
True. And what did you like photographing the most? Or was it everything?
I loved everything.
Okay.
I used to shoot everything. The camera immediately becomes an extension of a photographer. So it
Yeah.
would go with me everywhere.
Everywhere.
I remember going to the Kumbh Mela at one point in time.
Wow.
Just to shoot, overnight, a bus trip with two of my friends, and we shacked in a lodge, went to the Kumbh Mela near Nasik.
Right.
And shot a lot of these sadhus and the whole thing that happens over there.
Correct.
And it was all on film.
So you
and-
would actually then plan that, okay, because I have a camera, let's go
Exactly,
attend an X
yeah.
event and go capture
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it was all about how can I use it? How do I use this lens? Where do I take this camera? Now that I have the camera and I'm interested in creating something. I love
Yes.
I love the thought of being a creator.
Correct.
So now where can I go and what can I create?
So then did you take any professional training now that you had
I
the
did
camera
not.
with you? You did,
I did not. No. I am completely self-taught. So when I got a little serious about photography, I was told two ways of going about photography. Either just go and assist a big photographer for 2-3 years,
Okay.
and then he will pave the path for you. Otherwise, spend some insane amount of money, go abroad into a fancy college,
Correct.
photography college, come back, and then you're pretty much set.
So which one did you choose?
Neither, because I didn't have the time and I didn't have the money.
Wow, this is going to be an unbelievable thought for our audience also, that one of the
Yeah.
top celebrity photographers is saying neither.
Yeah, neither. I didn't have the time because
Yeah.
when I picked up the camera, I was already a dad.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
wow.
And it's all thanks to Manisha's support that
Right.
I could actually do this. My parents' support that I could do this.
Yeah.
And when I told them I want to give photography a shot, their immediate reaction was me clicking thread ceremonies and
Yeah, the typical
the
stuff.
typical one.
Yeah,
Because
the typical
at that
stuff.
time nobody knew photography as a mainstream profession
No,
beyond
in
these.
fact, the fact that you're saying your parents and your wife supported you, you're talking about a time when these kind of professions, the creative ones, were only looked upon as a hobby.
Yes.
Nothing more than
Yes.
that. Not a source of income, not a means of an extension of
Not at
yourself.
all.
It never had
Not
those
at all.
definitions.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But then again, I realized that coming from a middle class, Maharashtrian family,
Yeah.
I think the ability of taking risks is zero.
Correct.
That's why I think pretty much everybody gets
Played it
stuck
safe.
wherever they are.
Yeah.
Even if you're getting a salary of 5,000, 10,000, you'll still be happy with that because
Rather than take this risk.
Rather than take this leap and
Yeah.
figure out what is there in store for you.
Correct.
But I think it was, for me, it was just about that one decision of taking a risk, leaving everything I had in hand,
Wow.
and deciding, okay, I want to pick up the camera and do photography.
Yeah.
Without any kind of direction. Like there was no beacon for me, but it was just this thought, this obsession that photography is going to work.
This is what
for
I
me.
want to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It just kept calling out louder and louder every time that I was deciding to not do it.
Yeah. So do you think you're a person who's following these signs? Do you do
Always,
this
always,
even
always.
apart from photography?
I do.
You do.
I do,
So you
I do.
are a person who's, I would say, more intuitive, or
Yes.
you get these signs and you pick them up.
Always,
you know
all
what's
the
your
time.
calling.
I'm a complete, hard person.
Correct.
The head takes over eventually because I'm also very headstrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you ask me, I go by the gut, I go by the heart.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, I think this profession demands one to go with the heart as
Correct,
well, right?
exactly.
The initial steps.
Exactly, yeah.
And what separates the art from the artist?
Art from the artist.
Which is you. Your art, and you're the artist. What separates both of you, or how would you combine the two of them?
So
Either way.
So I think I was very clear. I don't know if I'm going to answer your question the way you want me to, but
Okay.
I didn't want to be an artist. I wanted to be a creator. I have always learned and I've always seen that all artists die poor. So
Okay.
I was very clear, and
Yeah.
and the artists that I interacted with, upcoming, sort of established, I think they would be so obsessed with taking the perfect shot or making the perfect painting, and they would put in so much of effort and in the end, I think they would not even complete a lot of things.
Okay.
Just obsessed with the process of being perfect in every possible
Everything.
way.
Yeah.
And it's not something that was for me.
Okay.
Secondly, I wanted to make money from it. I was very, very clear, because whatever I'm going to do,
Correct.
it's going to be my bread and butter.
Yes.
So I had to be.
This was never a side business for you. You were sure of
I was sure of that.
Yeah.
I was sure of that. Then let me pick it up, and then as in when I read more and more about this topic, I realized that it's one of the most highest paying professions of the world.
Right.
So then I said, why not? Let's just embark
Correct.
on this journey and figure out how it is. So I never really wanted to create art.
Yeah, you wanted to be a creator. That's the difference.
I wanted to be a creator. I wanted to make everything that comes to me look better than what it is. So in that sense, I think when you're a photographer, you're like a de facto artist. But I didn't want to be an artist in terms of getting the technically perfect shot.
Correct.
And the technically perfect light.
You wanted it to just be seamless, like it's just be an extension of you.
Exactly,
basically.
exactly, yeah. But then as I went forward, I started clicking nature a little bit. All the tours that I did, all the motorcycle tours that I did, I created art in my own way in terms of capturing nature.
Okay.
And again, it didn't really adhere to any norms or adhere to any brief out there. So that art that I created is just true to me and my own self.
Yeah.
I thought that this is something which is art for me, and I just completely went by it without really bothering about what art is being created by photographers out there.
Yeah, you didn't you didn't want to follow like this definition set by
never,
them, basically.
never.
So if you clicked so many nature-based photographs, and like you mentioned, you go biking a lot, then how did you switch to having so many human and portrait photography today? Like, how did this switch happen? Because initially you were first.
So I picked up the camera, and initially I wanted to become a wildlife photographer and shoot nature.
So this is okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my calling, because I'm in love with animals. I love nature. I'm
you
very
love
outdoor.
packing your bag and just leaving.
And I'm a very outdoor sort of a person. And then I realized that being a wildlife photographer is not going to cut it for me in terms of earning a living, because it's not like a very mainstream profession, at least here in India, where people can actually make a living out of it.
Correct.
So then I realized, what is the next best thing? And then I realized that we are surrounded by people,
100%.
and everybody wants to look good.
Yeah.
And more and more so with technology coming in, the phones getting better, the filters being, preset onto your phones.
Yeah.
So everybody just wanted to look better. So I said, why not just capitalize on that? And then
so that's how you made the shift.
I made the shift, and it is so surprising that I was not even somebody who would speak this much. Like even one line I would not speak. I was a very introvert person. I had terrible stage fear.
That's what I'm saying. It's so difficult to believe that you are not this kind of
Correct. So I think when the opportunity really came, I was already equipped with what was required.
Correct.
So I realized that shooting people is more about me connecting with them, communicating with them, and breaking the ice with them, rather than technically just shooting a picture and clicking a portrait.
So how do you prepare your muse then?
So it's with a lot of interaction, one meeting, two meetings before the photo shoot.
So you do that?
I do that. Unless, of course, unless there's somebody who's professional, unless I'm shooting a celebrity, that's not possible. Yeah, that's not possible. It's not required also.
Yeah.
Professional models are a different thing altogether. Okay. But, I take great pride, and I enjoy shooting first timers a lot.
Okay.
And in that sense, I like shooting portfolios. A lot of mainstream photographers would not shoot portfolios, but I'm somebody who does.
Okay.
Because I really feel that, good-looking people are good-looking people. Not good-looking people. I'll rephrase that. I will say that celebrities are celebrities. Models are models. They know their angles. They know exactly how to look, where to look, what angle to give, and how to look great, how to work the camera. Yeah. But, you pick up a person from the street and you make him look like one of the superstars, one of the models. And I think that's an achievement. And in that sense, I love shooting first timers. Yeah. And if I give you, let's say, a Tom Cruise or a Shah Rukh Khan to shoot tomorrow, you'll take 10 shots with your phone, and you still get winning shots. And even if you do not get winning shots, you show it to somebody, it's a picture of a top celebrity. I think that takes precedent over how the picture is. Yeah, so automatically people are going to get flattered by a picture of a celebrity.
True.
But I take a picture of one of my team members or somebody who who's wanting to get into acting or modeling, and they are a nobody, never face the camera, and I make them look like a Shah Rukh Khan. I think that's the real battle. You know?
And that I think is what you really enjoy.
I enjoy doing that because I really I also tell people that I'm in a profession where I can change self perception. So I don't know if people can look at it that way, but you come to me with a certain psyche, and you walk out of my studio with looking maybe 30-40 times better than you've ever imagined.
Spring in the step, I can always
Exactly. Yeah. So in that sense, I'm changing your self-perception, and you go out of my studio feeling better about yourself, and that gives me immense satisfaction.
Yeah, that's actually a form of self-love, right?
Yeah.
Because you are also such a person who carries that energy and that aura with you. I think you just pass that, to your muse and to the people who interact with you.
Correct. Absolutely.
I think all of us go back more joyous, more. I think we feel good about ourselves. So I think that's what you're bringing to the table for all these newcomers.
Totally. And ultimately, on any shoot, and I tell everybody who comes to me for mentorship or assisting me or interning with me that ultimately your energy is going to become your subject's energy.
Correct.
So if you're going to be very dull and boring, that's immediately going to translate into the energy who's in front of you. So in that sense, anyways, you have to become somebody else when you pick up the camera. You have to be.
So why not be this better person?
Yeah, exactly. And you have to be encouraging. You have to be, very sprightly. You have to be very, flattering. And half the times I know I'm lying, but of course, doing that is what really gets the ship to the shore.
Yeah, and that's fair because if they are going back feeling good about it, you've actually kind of laid the seed for them.
Exactly.
And then they can take it ahead.
Exactly. There have been so many instances where people have cried when I've showed them the picture. There have been so many people who have actually fallen to my feet. Like I don't mention this anywhere, but it's worth a mention because they never really thought that they could look like this, or it's transformational for them. It's eye-opening for them.
So basically, when we talk about in every profession, we say that we should have this element that we'll end up making a difference in someone's life. And there are some professions you're like, how would you do that in this profession? But I think what you're doing is actually defining that no matter what the profession, there is so much you can give, so much of a difference that you can make beyond that just that 1 hour of photography session, right?
Exactly.
They're going to remember you all their life.
Exactly.
They're going to be constantly mentored. I think they are going to have a voice in their head that says you can do it.
Exactly.
And that's an achievement by itself.
Yeah.
And when you're not photographing people or you're not photographing at all, what are you doing?
I'm a very, very boring person. Extremely boring person.
I do not agree one bit. Snip. I do not agree one bit.
So I'm obsessed with my workouts. So I will not miss my workout for anything. So as much time as I can spend in the gym, I'll try to do that.
Okay.
I love spending time by myself. So in that sense, I spend a lot of time, like insane amounts of time all by myself alone.
Okay.
I watch a lot of television. I watch series, I watch movies, sometimes over and over again. Yeah, anything and everything. So and it's been a habit with me since I was a kid. So I've been watching content ever since black and white TVs, which were there, during my growing up days. So of course, not much of content, but then came the phase of video cassette players.
Absolutely.
So we used to rent these. Yeah, exactly. We used to rent all these movies, and I would keep watching content over and over and over again. And I would spend lots of time with just recording this movie or recording certain clips in the movie into another cassette because I want to refer to them again and again and again, watch it again and again and again. So ultimately, all my content consumption, it made sense when I gave my entire portfolio. So I had hit a dead end in my career, so to speak, that it's not going anywhere. I don't know which direction to go into now. And I sent my entire portfolio to this lady in New Zealand who was a very top shot advertising creative director.
Okay.
And she culls your portfolio. She will tell you exactly what to keep, what not to keep, where do you stand, what you need to do, and what needs to be your trajectory here on.
Oh, wow.
And the first line, in her entire synopsis analysis that she sent is, she said all your pictures are extremely cinematic.
Wow.
So that's how the dots connected. Because all the content that I've been consuming, it all very subconsciously translates into each and every frame that I click.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And that brings me to the next question, which is you've done some profound work in the Bollywood industry also.
Correct.
So why don't we talk about that extension of cinema right here, right now?
Right.
So you've got My Name is Khan, you've got Jodha Akbar, and
Correct.
not only movies, you've been shooting so many celebrities.
Correct.
So
Correct.
tell us something about that. Has this been like a turning point? Has this set a bar that people are now looking at you with a different eye? What has this Bollywood brought into your life?
I think it was a game changer when I shot for My Name is when I shot for Jodha Akbar, which was my first big break.
Right.
I have shot some celebrities before that also. So my first ever celebrity shoot was Kailash Kher.
Okay.
So when he sung that song Allah Ke Bande, and it shot to fame, one of the magazines in Bangalore wanted to cover him, and lucky for me, I always had like a website going ever since I was shooting a little bit of pictures here and there. I made a website out of my own name.
Correct.
And they somehow found me, and then at the time I was based in Pune, and from Bangalore they thought that I could travel to Bombay and shoot Kailash Kher and give the pictures to them as portraits they could carry.
Fantastic.
So I remember going to Salim Sulaiman's studio in Bandra and shooting Kailash Kher. So that was my first celebrity shoot.
And that you think is the turning point?
No. That was
just the beginning into Bollywood.
Turning point was Jodha Akbar, plain and simple, because that was a very big opportunity I got.
Yeah.
I assisted a photographer in Bombay, Avinash Gowarikar.
Okay.
And when I assisted him, it was for a couple of months. But I think when I worked with him, it was a game changer altogether. My entire perspective of photography just flipped 360 degrees.
Fantastic.
Because what you learn is one thing, but when you see a professional doing his thing, when you see somebody actually putting it all into play, the whole equation is completely different.
Wow.
And
can't even imagine how big
completely
this
different.
Was
it was huge. It was huge, and I think most of my not opportunities, but most of the betterment that happened in my pictures is because I watched somebody professional, some professional working.
Would you say this was that? Like you said, you never studied photography. Do you think this was that like a mini course?
Yeah, it was. It was a crash course, and I realized that once it didn't go a long way, unfortunately, because I was already a set photographer.
Correct.
And I had my own work and my own assignments to do, so I couldn't do it justice. So it didn't last that long in that sense. But when I came back from there, I realized that all my pictures are just on a different level.
Wow.
Because I grasped so much. Passively, of course. No photographer is going to teach you do this, do that. But whatever I grasped passively, that itself, it was great.
So we spoke about how you broke the glass ceiling because of Bollywood. How about you tell us something that really brought you to a low point, and how did you build yourself back from there? So when life got blurry, how did you adjust your focus?
I think with regards to my career, I think the only thing that's worked for me is perseverance and just hanging in there against odds, because honestly, it's not a very easy thing to carve a niche for yourself in this field. So many people are trying, so many people have tried. Most of the people give it up after a point.
Correct.
And especially when there's so much of lobbying, there's so much of competition now with digital coming in. At the time I started on film, so there were probably 10-15 big names in photography.
Correct.
But nowadays it's all the more difficult to really make a mark for yourself. So in that sense, perseverance really helped me, because the feeling that I had that photography is going to work for me was so strong, and I just absolutely knew it's going to work, that there was just no reason. I had a lot of low points, a lot of times when I was doing projects, but I did not. I remember times when I was traveling from Bombay to Pune to for my son's birthday, and I did not have money to buy him a gift. It was that low, because I couldn't ask from my dad. Because we not any particular reason, but I just thought that
it wasn't the right thing.
It wasn't the right thing to do. Didn't want to ask anyone, but I've had low points like that also.
Okay.
But then a lot of times I thought that let me just give it up and just get into a job, or just take something which secures me in a certain way. But that was just not it for me. But I think perseverance and just knowing that this is going to work for you, and the number of times I was knocked down, I hit back twice as hard after I got up.
Was there like a force, or was there like a person or a situation that gave you that encouragement and motivation? Because when you're at your lowest, it's what is it that you fall back on? Nothing. Like,
Correct.
that's why it's your lowest. So
Yeah,
what was
yeah.
that push that even told you, no, I won't give this up?
I think it was the inner voice. Primarily, it was the inner
Yeah.
voice, and plus knowing that my work was evolving.
Yeah.
I always knew that I'm getting better at my shoot than what I was at my
Your
previous
graph
shoot.
was going upwards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, it was a gut feeling, and I just knew it that it's
Correct.
going to work out. So that's what kept me going, and it never really occurred to me, or it never crossed my mind ever to give it up completely and take something else. Although those
Yeah.
thoughts really came,
Yeah.
and it's natural
It's a
human
nudge,
nature.
yeah.
But yeah, my family supported, my wife supported. A lot of times when things were down, she took care of all the expenses, and for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think
It was teamwork.
It was teamwork. All in all, everybody was hand holding, and it worked out in the end. Even today, there are times when things are really not that great, because it's not a job where you have the security of doing just X amount of work every month and
True.
some money
Of
comes
course
in.
not.
So there's still some bad months. But I know exactly how to keep afloat now
Yeah.
in terms of spirit
You've learned
more than
that
anything
skill.
else.
Yeah.
Because see, money is the next thing. So generally,
Money should be a byproduct of what you do. That's
Exactly,
what I believe.
that's
Once
what-
you put in your hard work and
Correct,
you're
correct,
committed to something, I
Correct.
think money just flows.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And in my downtime, what I have started doing is I started shooting for myself. So
Okay,
it's not
nice.
always like I have to keep shooting for a commercial project or
Yeah.
something that's going to give me money. So that's something that I'm doing for them. Of course, I'm doing it, but I'm doing it for someone else.
For
But what am I
someone
doing
else,
for
yeah.
myself?
Yeah.
So in that sense, I started doing a lot of creative shoots and a lot of concept-driven shoots, working with new talent, new makeup artists, and all these things really added a lot of new flavor to my body of work.
Yeah, yeah.
So even on my website right now, if you go into my personal section, my personal section has got the most exciting pictures than all my commercial
Yeah,
work
and they're
put
dear
together.
to you because you've done it
Exactly, for my own
yourself.
self, for my own
yeah.
creative gratification. And
Now, recently, what I've been watching on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
you've posted a lot about AI. And that is something you've been
Yeah.
experimenting on your own.
Yes,
You're just playing
yes,
around with the tool
yes,
right now.
yes.
Would you want to elaborate? I'm sure the audience would like to hear something about AI.
Correct. So I think I don't really think it's ever going to replace a photographer or an artist.
Yeah, no.
Because there's
Definitely
no
not.
heart in that, honestly, and
Correct.
plus there's a limitation to what you can tell the engine to give you.
Okay.
So you can be approximate, and you can probably just hover around the edges of what you want,
Right.
and then the AI system will still give you something what it thinks is the best, depending on
Correct.
your description.
But it's not your brain.
It's not
right?
your brain. It's
Yeah.
not your brain.
Yeah.
So if I'm and plus I feel if I've not done the lighting for it, if I've not instructed the model, if I've not
Yeah.
talked to the model and got
There
my
is
shots,
nothing.
yeah, then how is it my creation? It's just like a digital painting sort of a thing.
Do you
So,
feel it's more like a robo who's next to you? You're just
yeah,
feeding it with some information and
It
it's
is, it
giving
is.
what it can give you.
it is
I
exactly
haven't
that.
ever played with it, so I don't know. I've just
it's
been hearing
difficult.
this
It's
so
not
much
easy.
right now.
It's difficult. It's not easy. That's why you
Okay.
don't see so many people doing it. But once you get a knack of it, I think it really is fun to play around with.
Is it more like a video game? Does it how you
Yeah.
kill your time playing a video game?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
think it's
it
more
is.
like
It
that?
is something like that. It is something like that. And sometimes you get really horrible results. Sometimes you get really good results.
Yeah, the ones on your page
Yeah.
are definitely fantastic. It just, I thought it was cakewalk, but then,
Correct.
you mentioned that this has not been easy either, So,
Exactly.
yeah.
And it is. I think where it fits into a photographer's life, at least my life right now, is maybe I can use it for inspiration.
Okay.
Let's say I want to do a photo shoot of
Yeah.
you in nature.
Yeah.
I'll give it all the commands and I will have it generate a picture which could be a reference which I'm going to use to
Use.
shoot you.
Okay.
Because normally what happens is before every photo shoot we do a lot of referencing
Yes,
from
that's right.
magazines, from Pinterest, from Instagram, from here, from there.
So you think this is an add-on tool to the same?
It is. I think I would look at it that way because
Correct. That
whatever
works for you.
whatever
Yeah.
you're getting online right now is either shot by someone
Yeah.
or it is created by somebody else.
Correct.
So you're already starting with somebody else's creation. Over here you're starting with your own creation.
So you're saying the reference picture is also your creation,
Exactly.
and then the actual picture is also
Exactly.
yours.
Is my creation. So
Yeah,
maybe you
that's
can
great.
use that as a reference and shoot it rather than me shooting a person X. I'll rephrase this. Me taking a person X's photograph as a reference and trying to replicate that or make it better, it's still going to have some undertones of that photograph.
Of course it will.
Here the reference is also mine, and what I'm doing with it is also mine.
Yeah, this makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I like the way you've actually thought of using AI.
Correct.
It's a very creative way
Correct.
to look at it and not like overpower what you're doing.
Exactly.
And it never can really
It
overpower
can, yeah. And plus, what I'm really astonished with is, if you were to say that AI is in the kindergarten stages of its evolution right now, the stuff it can do even right now is mesmerizing. Imagine once it's going to get into school and once it's going to graduate and post-graduate, I don't know what it's going to be capable of doing.
So do you think there's like a huge future for AI, in your opinion?
I think so. I think so. It will be. But see, the thing is, if I want a picture of you, I want a picture of you.
Correct.
So
of course.
No AI is going to help me with that.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it can ever replace the real photography, but like AI in the world as a concept, do you think it's here to stay?
I think it is here to stay. Definitely.
Okay.
I'm not extremely technologically savvy or extremely tech savvy, but I think AI
this is one of the
big,
things,
and it's definitely going to evolve and it's here to stay.
Okay. All right. Another question that I think we all want to know, what is the right kit for a budding photographer? Like what is at least a to-go kit, that this much is what you are going to need? Could you elaborate something on this one?
So I get asked a lot of times in terms of which lenses to buy, which cameras to buy, what equipment do I need to have, and most of the people I interact with, they seem to get lost in terms of what they want to buy, because they only want to buy the best. They think that not having the best equipment is keeping them away from creating the pictures that they want to create. And that is such bad news for all these creators out there, because it is absolutely not the case. Some of my best pictures come from my phone. So it's never about what you have, it's always about the person who's wielding all this all the equipment.
Is it the eye? Are you trying to say like
your eye has to be trained? Your eye has to be trained. The image, you have to get into a habit of visualizing, you have to get into the habit of seeing. So if you ask me, a lot of times I would answer with saying that I'm in a profession of seeing. Because I see the picture before I can take it on camera. So in that sense, if I see it properly and clearly in my head, getting it down on camera, which is a tool, is I think the easiest thing on the planet.
Right. So you're saying visualizing
and seeing it. Because if I go to a place and if I see somebody sitting somewhere, there are a lot of things around it, in and around it. But how do I isolate only one section and only see that person or that thing for the way it is, the way the light is falling? If I can see it, oh wow, this is a picture, this is something I really want to shoot.
All you do is click.
And then I just have to figure it out and then I have to click it. But identifying that requires a trained eye. So in that sense, people just need to look at a lot of other people's work. They need to shoot a lot and assess and reassess their own work. But in terms of equipment, going back to your question, so I think firstly people need to just go and buy something very, very inexpensive and something that fits their wallet. There is no upper limit to what you can buy.
Yeah, of course there isn't.
There is no upper limit. You can have hundreds of thousands of rupees, and even that will not be enough to cut it for you.
Correct.
But initially, just buy an inexpensive camera. In terms of lenses, you buy a zoom lens. A zoom lens is basically what will let you go from a wide angle to a telephoto.
Okay.
So a wide angle, which is 18 millimeter, for example, which sees wide, to a telephoto, let's say let's say 100 or a 200, which lets you see very close. The field of view narrows down.
Okay.
When you have the zoom, it need not be an expensive one. With that zoom, you basically can click anything. You can click interiors, you can click wide shots, you can click portraits, you can click wildlife.
So you're covering a lot of aspects.
A lot of things with just one lens. And then if you realize, okay, I love shooting food more, I love shooting portraits more, then you've understood where your strengths are or your interest is. And at that point, you can put in money and buy a specialized lens only for that genre.
So initially one doesn't need to do that, basically.
They don't need to do that
around,
because that's what works for me.
So
now I have a set of 4 or 5 lenses and I never really feel like going above or beyond them. Every couple of years, because of repeated use, they tend to get a little soft with the focus. Every couple of years I sell the same lenses and buy the same lenses all over again, brand new. Because I know exactly these lenses just do it for me, so I don't need to go out of that zone.
Again. Got it. So you think this is the basic a person should have in their kit, or do you want to add something to this which is beyond the camera? Is there any other aspects in a photographer's life that they need which is besides the main camera?
I think a tripod is very, very important.
Okay.
Having a lot of battery power is important. So at
Right.
least have 2 to 3 batteries. And then I think maintenance of the camera is very, very important.
Correct.
So have your things in place, and you can't ever have enough storage. So invest wisely in a lot of memory cards.
Okay. What is this one message you would like to give all the budding photographers? In fact, I would say all of us, because the mobile phone has made each of us a photographer in
Correct,
some way.
correct,
So what's
correct.
the one message you want to give them?
So I can't emphasize this enough that people need to shoot more.
Okay.
Like I told you before,
Yeah.
in your earlier question, people are waiting for the right equipment,
Yeah.
the right light, the right cameras, the
Correct.
right model. Everything is already there for you. Pick up anything, ask anyone, pick up your phone, put them on a natural light. Natural light is free of cost.
Yes.
So no investment.
Yeah.
So use all these things and just start shooting, because I cannot emphasize the importance of shooting as much as as much as I can, because the more you shoot, the better you get.
Correct.
And if you see any photographer's track record, it's only because they are in touch with their art, their medium every day, is that they get better.
Yeah.
And I keep giving this example about musicians and other artists who
Right.
practice every day. Like a singer will do his chords every day,
Yes.
scales every day. A musician will practice his instrument every day to get better and
Yes,
better.
definitely.
A sportsman will practice every day, every other day to make his sport better. But I never see photographers shoot as much as they need to.
Correct.
They're always waiting for something to give them money, a commercial job.
Yeah.
And I know of people who started maybe 5-6 years before I picked up the camera.
Okay.
And today they've already given up the camera and they're nowhere, because they just kept thinking that no, they are meant for big things and a big opportunity needs to come their way.
And then they will give it
and
their
then
all.
they will give it their all. This is small. This is not really worth my time. This is not good in terms of the money it's giving me.
Correct.
So they don't realize that all these small opportunities together collectively make a big opportunity.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's pretty much the graph of your professional life.
True.
So that one big thing might come, might not come, but that's no reason to not
Hold
shoot.
yourself back. Yeah.
So practice every day, shoot every day, and I think that's the only way to make any art
Get better.
Get better.
It makes a lot of sense. And if
Yeah.
other artists are doing it
Yeah.
in other fields,
Exactly.
like the examples you mentioned, then why not us?
Exactly.
True.
If Virat Kohli would just pick up a bat only when he has a
Yeah.
match, imagine what will happen.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Well said.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to ask you a personal question. I'm in your space today recording this interview with you, and my eyes are noticing a lot of things around. One, there is a lot of stuff regarding bikes, and second, a lot of Buddhas.
Right.
So, what's the story here?
That's a crazy observation. So bikes is something I've been passionate about always, and I am a very avid traveler. Sometimes, I really wonder what I can do that I'll have enough money in my account and I can just keep traveling. And not really bother about my expenses and my, outflow. So I love traveling. To different cities, different countries, experiencing different cultures, and I like traveling by road. So that's what got me in touch with motorcycling.
Right.
And it's all connected in a very strange or a very funny way. So now, a lot of people keep giving me Buddhas. I don't know, there was one point in my life where there were only Buddhas flowing into my life. So
you were being gifted Buddhas.
Gifted Buddhas.
Okay.
And my room was full of at least a few dozen figurines of Buddha. And then I didn't know what to do with them. And at one point in time, I became very, very antisocial. And I went into my cocoon and I was a recluse.
Okay.
Like people would say, Sameer Belvalkar, the recluse photographer. So people would say that.
Oh man.
And then I was like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? It didn't really bother me because I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I'm happy being by myself.
Yeah.
But it just made me wonder, why is this happening? And then maybe I thought that maybe it's all these Buddhas, and because
the energy
there's so
of the
much of
Buddha.
Buddha energy over here that maybe I'm just like becoming detached and just
getting isolated.
just forsaking life and luxuries and this and that.
Yeah.
It just came to my mind, and I reduced a lot of these figurines and put them in a box and just shelved them. But it's
But
not,
then didn't you ask the people who were gifting you this, why were they resonating, gifting you with a Buddha?
so they just kept thinking that we saw this, and the first thing that came to my mind is you'll like it.
It's also a positive way to
Yeah.
look at it,
It is,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
Buddha
it's
stands
positive.
for so much
No,
more.
I don't look at it negatively at all. It is just what it is.
Yeah.
And
Very Zen mode.
very Zen mode.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I experience when I'm on my motorcycle. Zen mode.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's how this gets connected. Really.
Exactly. Like, I do long trips. I'm not the kind of person who'll do a morning ride, breakfast ride, and come back.
Right.
So all my tours have been pretty long tours. And days, like 4 days, you're on the saddle and you're riding.
Wow.
And you're locked into your helmet and there is nobody. There are no thoughts. There's only you in the helmet, your thoughts.
So it is a form of isolation.
It is a form of meditation, if you ask me.
Yeah.
A lot of my problems gets solved when I go on a tour.
Oh my God, that is awesome.
Yeah. So because you're forced to
Center in.
address a few things which you've been avoiding, and it just gets thrown at you. And there are so many times, I just have the cruise control on and I'm just sitting on the bike and I'm doing nothing. It's a straight long highway for, miles and miles and miles ahead.
Oh my God. That is actually really meditative to come to think of it.
It is extremely meditative.
Yeah.
And even the sound of the engine, the sound of the wind, it just, does things to you. So I look at it as a form of meditation.
So is this like Buddha on a bike?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So this
Literally.
and that, how it handholds is very strange. And also you stop somewhere, you're actually in touch with everything around you, unlike a car where you're in an air conditioner and a freshener.
You're like a part of nature at that point.
So there have been times when I was going on the bike and I could for I think 10-15 miles I could only smell freshly cut grass in the air.
Oh my God.
And I was wondering, like, it was such an overwhelming sensation.
Yeah.
And then I saw this entire field which they were harvesting. And
how brilliant.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's not always good. Sometimes,
of course, there are going to be different sorts of experiences.
Yeah.
But this tops it all.
It tops it all. So it's very meditative. It's very therapeutic for me. So even when I start acting cranky at home, and if I'm just losing my bearings, my family would say, just take your bike and just go. Like, go on ride and come back and you'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your go-to. We all need to have a point that centers in and our go-to when we know we just can't handle life enough. So for you, riding does that.
It does that. It's just
yeah, it puts you in the Zen mode.
It does.
So now I'm going to call you Buddha on the bike. Yeah, I love that term for you.
A lot of people might read Buddha on the bike.
That will be the later stages of your life.
Never. I'm age proof. I don't know if I told you that.
No, you didn't.
I'm age proof.
How do we know this?
You see.
No, like audience जानना चाहती है like now. What is the key to this? What is the secret to this? And what are you trying to say?
No, just live your life like an adventure. So I think when you're young inside, of course, it's going to show.
So physical doesn't matter, right?
No, it doesn't never matter.
The hair can grey, who cares?
Yeah, and I read this very interesting quote on somebody's shirt long back that growing old is mandatory, growing up isn't.
Isn't, yes.
Yeah.
I resonate that as well. Yeah, really nice.
So that makes a lot of sense to me.
So you'll still be Buddha on the bike?
On the bike, yeah.
Okay, sorted.
Yeah.
All right, tell us what's new, what's next?
So what's new in terms of work is there are a lot of shoots coming up. So some stuff I can't disclose, but there's a big campaign for a laptop brand, and then there are a lot of garment shoots coming up in Bombay.
Nice.
So in fact, most of July I'm going to be in Mumbai doing a lot of work there. Personally, I again leave on a motorcycle tour in about 5 days time, 5-6 days time.
There you go.
Yeah. So then
and where are you off to now?
So I'm going to Spiti Valley.
Oh, I was going to ask you, is it somewhere close to Ladakh that you're planning to go? Because this is the right season for that belt.
Correct.
Wow.
So that's coming up. So I'm pretty excited for that. So I'm going to be going for about.
And we'll have new adventures to talk about there.
Yeah. And this time I've bought myself a drone, like a new.
Oh, right then. Now we're talking next level.
Exactly.
We're going to see some crazy photographs.
That's what. So flying it over those terrains, I think.
My God, that's going to be gorgeous. We're going to see a completely new Spiti Valley.
Exactly. But what happens? When I travel, which I do a lot, I hardly shoot any content because I don't really have the patience for it.
You just want to be in the moment.
I want to be in the moment.
It all.
Initially, when I did all my tours, and I've been from Pune to Ooty, was my first long ride.
Wow.
I've been from Pune to Kodaikanal, Pune Hampi. Then I've done Nepal. I've done Rajasthan. I've done the whole Konkan coast. Right after my first ride, which was to Ooty, I realized that I'm investing too much time in my adventure cameras and other stuff to get the shot.
Yeah.
And in the process, I'm just coming back with no memories, no experiences.
Yeah.
So,
correct. You're just, I mean, we all feel that on holidays, right? When we go on a holiday, do I click? If I'm going to click, I'm not even in the moment.
Exactly.
Like, can I just be? Can the camera not be with me? So I know exactly what you're saying. And on a bike, so you're carrying all that equipment with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Spiti is going to be a place where, you know, anywhere you see it's a portrait.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a landscape.
Yeah.
Not taking camera there, it's a very big decision for me, because people who know I'm going there, they're like completely scandalized. Like, how can you not take a camera there out of all the places?
I swear, even I would think
like,
the same.
Yeah. And I'm like, because I want to soak it in.
Yeah, true that.
When the place is so beautiful, the camera becomes a distraction.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want any distractions. I just want to be in my Zen mode
there.
and just take it all in.
Yeah.
So
it's almost going to be like seeing a live postcard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what.
So, but you're carrying the drone with you.
I am.
Yeah. So we are going to see something come out of that.
Correct. But again, you know, I don't really fly it as much as I should.
Yeah.
But again, because it becomes a distraction. So, but yeah.
But now that you are in a terrain which will allow more of that.
Yes.
And why not?
Yeah, definitely. In fact, when I bought the drone, the first thing I told myself to convince myself to go in for an expensive thing is, just imagine when I go to Ladakh or when I go to Spiti, what kind of footage I'll get.
So that was the motivation.
Yeah, so this is justified. So let's just go in for it.
Correct.
So having done that now, not getting any good footage from there is just going to be criminal.
Not fair on all of us.
Yeah.
But wish you great luck for these next adventures of your life, personally and professionally.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks a lot.
Okay, so my next segment is Straight Up with Sameer, which essentially is a rapid fire. I would expect answers either to be one word or one sentence. Okay? Are you ready for this?
Okay, let's see if I'm ready.
What is the one thing no one knows about you?
If I tell that, then, well...
Everyone will know about you eventually, yes. That's why I said one word answers only. You cannot give me an explanation.
Okay, let's do it again. Ask me again.
Okay. What is the one thing that no one knows about you?
So, I get into a rage when I listen to a snoring sound.
Really, is this one? Sorry, this is too funny.
It's what it is. I get furious. Like, I've thrown fits.
Oh no.
Yeah. And part of the reason why whenever I travel, if I have a friend coming with me or anywhere I go, I cannot stay with anyone, because if they snore, I'm going to be one step close to killing them.
Oh my God. No, not an answer I was expecting. Whose work has influenced you the most?
So I would say a couple of names in my formative years. A photographer called Steve McCurry, Richard Avedon, Annie Leibovitz, big time.
Okay.
Then David LaChapelle.
There are quite some people there.
Yeah. So I think a lot of my stuff happened when I was going through their work and reading their biographies and stuff.
Yeah. So fair enough to give credit to all. Okay. What is the one thing you wish you knew when you started taking photos?
I'm so blank with this question. Okay, ask it to me again.
What is the one thing you wish you knew when you started taking photos?
That digital is going to be making it difficult for everyone.
Okay. If Sameer was not a photographer, he would be?
I think a traveler. If only somebody would pay me for it. I'll probably just have like a travel channel or something, and
I see that. I see that in the near future. I don't know why.
Hope so.
I think you're going to attract it and manifest it.
I think so,
Okay, describe yourself in one word.
Impatient.
Another answer I wasn't expecting.
I want everything yesterday. Like,
okay.
I'm extremely impatient. Even if
one wouldn't make that out with this whole Zen mode that we just spoke about.
But that's my surface. My facade is always Zen, but inside I'm always on the edge.
Yeah, so like you're like the duck paddling underwater. At the surface level, the duck is like the most cool, calm, composed, but it's like, paddling away to keep itself afloat.
Yes.
Okay, so describe yourself in one word, duck. Does that work?
Duck,
Okay. What life skill has the field of photography taught you?
Communication.
Nice. What's a cheesy pickup line used by a photographer?
ask me again. You can
What-
cut this, no?
What's a cheesy pickup line used by a photographer?
Like, I've not ever used it, but I would say
A photographer used by. I'm not saying used by you.
how wide is your aperture?
Okay, Sameer didn't say this. He's saying it on behalf of someone else.
Beep, 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 beep.
Okay, and advice you would give your younger self?
Don't take things so seriously.
Your favorite song with the word photograph in it?
The song is still Photograph by Ed Sheeran. I love
Yes,
that a
that's
lot.
mine too.
Yeah.
That makes two of us. Okay, Jodha Akbar or My Name is Khan?
Impossible to compare. Completely
You still
different
have to choose
genres.
one. It's a rapid
Jodha
fire.
Akbar.
Okay.
It's what made me.
Yeah. Okay, Shah Rukh Khan, Rahul Dravid or Malaika Arora, the person you enjoy shooting the most?
So I have spent a lot of time shooting Shah Rukh Khan. So yeah, Shah Rukh
So
Khan.
Shah Rukh Khan. And who's your favorite muse?
So I always had a dream of shooting Kareena Kapoor, and again I manifested in a way that in a matter of months I got a film with her.
Oh my god,
So-
and which was the film?
We Are a Family.
Oh my god, that's excellent.
Yeah. And then Speedy, you're coming. I called biker friends, nobody came, so I'm going alone.
No ways. This is
Same
crazy.
thing happened with Nepal. I asked 3-4 friends, nobody's
said
coming.
no.
Then they were, are you mad? I think Nepal? So I didn't think I'll go alone. I have to go. It's my problem.
Yeah, I think that's why you need the Buddha strength. Really, honestly, the more I'm talking to you, I feel like you need it. You need his kind of zen and strength in your life
Could be.
to balance out meeting people, but also being very comfortable in your isolation.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I always say, like, you know, people should be the cherry on your cake. They cannot be your cake.
Yeah,
Are you happy by yourself?
Yeah.
Are you happy if no one ever met you or validated you? Yes, I am. Then I have this XYZ life, so it's okay. You
Makes
know?
sense. That's
So
a good
maybe
way of looking at it.
you're going to need so much of that, especially when you say when you're in that helmet for like four days. How do you get that strength to be with yourself?
Yeah.
Like in COVID, when people had to be with themselves, half of them visited psychiatrists. I know of so many personally. You know, so being with yourself is not as easy as
No, it's
you know
not.
to
It's
talk
not.
about it.
And as much as I'm saying I'm okay being with myself for any number of hours
is-
and days,
yeah.
on my Nepal ride, I was a couple of times, I almost was going to break down into crying. Like, I have not seen a soul for so many days, not spoken to anybody.
Yeah.
But then
It's
it's
not
like, you know,
easy.
what is the other option now? You're this far, you have to push through and you have to reach home. Or you
Yeah.
have to reach the other side.
Correct. Then
So you can't just stop midway.
No,
So
you
just- and I think more than anything else, it's such a important test of your mental strength.
correct. That's the game changer.
And you're 24/7, you're only on survival instinct. Of the kind of traffic, your rearview mirrors, the bike keeps talking to you.
Yeah.
If any sound a little off, is
Then
the
you
feel a little
immediately-
off?
yeah.
Are you getting an extra vibration where you shouldn't get it?
My God.
So all your senses are peaked,
Correct.
and it's truly a mental strength.
That's what I'm saying. That
Yeah.
I think that's why the Buddha walks up to you. You know,
Could
more
be.
than you reaching out. That you know,
Yeah.
this is the strength we need to give you to
Yeah.
prepare you for a life like
Could
that.
be, but you know,
Yeah.
I'm giving you fragmented information, and you know, you're putting it together in such a sensible way for me.
Yeah, no, because I've been trying to find the answer why the Buddhas have walked into your life. Like, because you told me that you never reached out, you never went and bought, but it's coming to you. And every time that happens, I feel as like in my also life, there are situations where I have not called out to something and it's come.
Correct.
So I'm like, why has it come? It's
Correct.
either a lesson or
Correct.
it's a gift that I'm
Correct.
going to need in my journey ahead.
Correct.
For you, I can only see that happening constantly in whatever you're telling me.
Yeah.
That you need that power, his zen mode, his isolation, the power of, like I keep saying, when you can't go out, go in. When you can't go out, go in, you know. So I train myself like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
So I know the journey is very tough to go
It
with
is. It is.
Very.
Also in Nepal, we went to this place, and there was this insanely big Shiva temple over there. It was called. It's a place called Swargadwari. So
Acha.
even people from Nepal, I tell them that I've gone to these places, and they're like, we don't know where
We
it
don't
is.
know it is. Oh my
So
God.
such remote and isolated places. In the temple I went, I had no idea the significance of that temple. For the first time in my life, I saw an eternal fire. Like, it's coming from the ground,
What?
and it's been on for thousands of years.
And it's right there.
It's right there, and they've built like this whole kund around it, and
Yeah,
they do
yeah.
their havans in it.
And it's just
So,
going on.
it's just going
like
on.
from years.
Nobody knows how long. It's just going on.
That's profound.
Yeah, and then as soon as I got over there, I looked up into a very bright, deep blue sky, beautiful clouds, like how we have
Yeah.
these couple of days.
Yeah.
And if I find the picture, I'll show you at some point. I saw a formation in the sky which was exactly like a dog. exactly like a dog. Once I reached over there,
My
it was
goodness.
exactly looking like a poodle.
Yeah,
With those fluffy
yeah,
ears
yeah.
and like that small
Tail,
fluffy
yeah.
tail. And I asked my friends, "Hey, what do you see? What do you see?" "Hey, dog, a dog, a dog." And then later on, I just dilly-dallying over there. And later on, I asked the people. And then later on, we finished. I went inside. I prayed and everything, and I was walking out, and I saw a priest over there. I just asked him, "What is the significance of this temple?" So he said the Panch Pandavas from Mahabharata.
Correct.
So they came over there, and it's through that place that the gates of heavens open for them.
Okay.
That's why it's called Swargdwari.
Okay, now makes sense.
Yeah. And then he went on further saying that after the Pandavas went, they were followed by a dog.
What?
Yeah, and the dog was the last one to enter that door, and the doorman stopped and said the dog can't go. So then they were so righteous that they said that the dog can't go. He's been with us all this while,
Right.
we will not go.
Yeah.
And then that dog was it was Yamraj basically, the dog.
Okay.
Who later on revealed who he was, but
Right.
just the whole connection of how I
And
saw
you
a dog in the
seeing-
cloud,
yeah, right
and then
there,
the story,
in the same space.
Yeah, so it was very mesmerizing. I got goosebumps right after I heard that story from that priest.
My God, that means like there's too much divine
Yeah.
intervention in your
Yeah,
life. There are
yeah.
too many signs. There's too
Correct,
much calling.
correct.
Like I really feel Buddha walked into your life
Yeah.
for a reason, and you needed it.
Correct.
And you'll keep needing it.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. Every
Eventually,
step of the
yeah.
way. Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
So yeah, that's an interesting story, amongst many.
Too
Rapid
many.
fire.
Rapid fire. Last question. Repeat. Okay. So my last question is, who's your favorite muse?
So I've always wanted to shoot Kareena Kapoor ever since I got into photography.
Okay.
So I always thought that it'll be a dream shoot for me, and I manifested it in just a couple of months when I got to work with her on a film.
Okay.
Right after My Name Is Khan, called We Are Family.
Right, yeah.
So I think we had around 3 to 4 months schedule in Australia. So the whole cast and crew was there, and in between the film shoot, I also got to do like one-on-one shoots with her, just for my own self. And then after that, we all came back here, and a couple of months after that, Filmfare called me for a cover shoot with her and Ajay Devgan.
There you go.
Yeah, and then they're very picky about who they choose and who they want to work with. And then when she was told that I was the one on We Are Family, she agreed to work with me. And again, that was just like a cherry on top.
Yeah. So basically, you manifested the power of thought.
Yeah,
The power of thought.
Power of thought, absolutely.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Done. This guy was from JJ School of Arts, and he was doing a demonstration of sculpting.
Okay.
And then after I inaugurated it, he was like really after my life. He contacted me through the coordinator. Ki please sir ko pucho na.
So nice.
Sculpture banana. I thought like something chota sa he will make and just give
Like
it
a
to me.
caricature.
I know.
Chotu sa.
Like something small, like just like my own bobblehead.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
But then this was like an elaborate thing. He made me. I was sitting like this for almost 3 hours.
I was going to ask you, this looks like like hours and hours of work.
3 hours.
You know how
I
like
was
they
sitting.
paint the kings and the
Yeah,
queens.
exactly.
It's like
and
that.
until the end, I couldn't see anything because it was just like a crucifix.
Okay.
And on that, he started putting the clay, got it to my proportion.
My God,
and he's
that's
doing this and this
insane.
and this and this. And at one point, he started working the back of my head, and he just flipped it around. And I was like, "What? This is like insane."
Yeah, like, and this he's just done with handwork.
Yeah. Complete
Wow.
handwork.
I'm so glad you said yes.
I know, right? Seriously, like when else would I have got a sculpture made of myself?
I swear.
After me, it'll probably be in the chalk over there. So.
Lewis, next goals after this interview.
It's already named after my great grandfather.
It is?
Yeah.
Nice, very nice. इसको आज शिफ्ट नहीं करने का सोचा आपने?
Eventuality.